The next method of collecting information using Acrobat and PDF is actually going to have me leave Acrobat. So I'm going to clean up a little bit and put some of these palettes and windows away and close up some of my files. And I won't save the changes to this one, just for the sake of being safe. I am, however, going to go back into the lesson folder that we have so that we can take a look at that. The application that we're going to look at is Microsoft Outlook, and unfortunately, Macintosh users, this functionality is only available for Outlook on Windows. You can use Acrobat and PDF to create archives for yourself, as I'm about to do with Outlook, but it's a more manual process using the package function or perhaps the attachments feature. Let's take a look at Outlook, though. And I have it running. In my inbox are some files, and I also have organized some files into a folder called October Event. This is actually very unusual behavior for me, and if you're anything like I am, your inbox is filled with many messages, and they refer to a number of different projects or topics or whatever. An email application is supposed to allow you to organize things, but more often than not, it becomes more of just a communications tool. And because the number of emails that I receive is very large, it can become very difficult for me to keep track of what it is I have even in my email. Acrobat, when you install it onto a workstation that has Outlook installed on it also, embeds some buttons and some other tools into Outlook that will help you with this problem. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I have some email messages here, and I want to organize them because the information in the email is important to me about this event, but I don't want to depend on being able to find them within Outlook. To help with this problem, I'm going to come over here to the buttons that Acrobat installed. The first one is Create Adobe PDF from Selected Messages, or in this case, I'm going to choose Create Adobe PDF from Folders. Now again, I've actually taken the step of organizing these email messages into a folder. In normal life, I don't actually tend to, and so what I would do instead is select perhaps 2 or 3 of the messages by Shift selecting or Control selecting to select discontinuous messages, and then clicking on the Create Adobe PDF from Selected Messages button. But I did organize them ahead of time, so I'm going to select Create Adobe PDF from Folders because I want to create an archive of these messages that I can use later on. Once I select that, in the Convert Folders to Adobe PDF dialog box, there is the entire list of folders that I've created in Outlook. I'm going to select October Event as the only folder that I want to add to this PDF file right now, and if there are any subfolders in this folder, I want to convert them as well. I'll click OK. Acrobat's going to ask me where I'd like to save this. I'm going to select the desktop and click Save. Now the conversion progress may take a few minutes, especially if you have a lot of email messages. Once it's done, Acrobat will take over and show you what it's created. Now I'll expand this to fill the screen, and let's take a look at this. This is a document that is born of all of the email messages that were in that folder, plus some other things. So let me zoom out so we can see the whole page, and I'm going to open the Attachments panel. I'll also open the Pages panel just for good measure so that we can look through the pages of the document. One of the things about email messages that's very useful is the fact that they can act like a contact management system. And again, I'm not terribly organized, and so a lot of times my email messages themselves become my contact management tool. I need to respond to somebody who sent me an email. Oh, I know, I'll go find an email they sent to me. Well, Acrobat allows for that, and if you look at the top of this email message here, you can see that there are 2 blue linked items, and when I roll my cursor over them, I can see that they're links. In fact, by holding my cursor over them and stopping, I can see where the link actually goes. If I click that, it's going to hand that over to my email client, in this case back to Outlook, start a new outgoing message to that recipient. The other thing that is useful that happened, and this is part of the reason that I make these archives in the first place, is that all of the attachments that were in all of those emails appear in the Attachments panel here. So I don't have to go hunting through all of the emails that refer to the October event. I now have one PDF file that is an archive of all of the content in the email messages, and it's an archive of all of the attachments that were in the email messages as well. This is a tremendously useful tool, and I have to tell you that when I'm organizing things after the fact, I tend to use this tool frequently to create archives for events, archives for projects, and whatnot, and then I have one file to store that represents all of the communication that happened with that event or project. It's incredibly handy. Now, I'm going to go back to Outlook because I'm going to make a change to this process and show you another method for doing this that, again, might be useful. So we'll jump back to Outlook. And I'm going to close the Creating Adobe PDF dialog box there. That was the dialog box from the previous session, and I'll show you how to dispense with that automatically when we recreate this archive. From the Adobe PDF menu, another thing that Acrobat installed into Outlook when I installed Acrobat onto the workstation, I have the option of changing the conversion settings. So I'll go ahead and do that. And the conversion setting that I'm going to change to this time is Output Adobe PDF Package when creating a new PDF file. Now, if you'll recall from the previous topic, a PDF package is a little bit different than a combined PDF in that it's not going to knit all of the pages together into a single PDF. It's going to create a package of individual PDF files. Let me show you what I mean. I'll select OK, and nothing is happening because remember, all I've done is to configure Acrobat. Now I have to actually trigger the event to occur. So I'll select Create New PDF from Folder. There's the October event folder that I want. I'll click OK. It's going to ask me to save it, and I'm going to name this one October Event 2, just so as not to overwrite the October Event 1 file that I just created. Click Save. And Acrobat will take over again, and here I have a PDF package. Now, the PDF package is a group of PDF files brought together in this concept of a package. It's still an archive of all of the email messages, but in this case, they're kept separately. So I can look through each of the individual emails, and that might be useful if I want to keep the emails separate, and it's also more convenient to select a particular email and then save it as an individual PDF file, perhaps for reuse in another project or something like that. But I have both options, and either option is a terrific way to archive email files in a reusable format that I can also share with somebody else. And that's sort of the icing on this cake. As I told you, this is something that I can start from within Outlook. There isn't a Macintosh equivalent for this. But if I archive my Outlook emails, this is a very useful way to be able to share that archive with somebody, whether they're on a PC that doesn't use Outlook or even on a Macintosh machine, because Outlook isn't available for the Mac. So let's go back over to Outlook, and you'll see that the Creating Adobe PDF dialog box is still showing. If you want that box to automatically go away when Acrobat finishes archiving your emails, all you need to do is click Close Dialog on Successful Completion. And the next time that you create an archive out of Outlook, the dialog box won't stay there, so you won't need to close it.